Welcome everyone to FST 10102 Introduction to Agriculture. So now you are in Module 2, Branches of Agriculture. So here, Module 2A, Branches in Agriculture 1. So for the topic learning outcome for Module 1A, at the end of the class, students are able to define and describe the branches of agriculture. So branches in Agriculture 1. So actually there are it's about 20 major branches of agriculture. The first one is agronomy, horticulture, plant breeding and genetics, science, crop physiology, plant protection, soil science, entomology, and agriculture biotechnology. I will class it as a branches of agriculture 1. And for the rest for the branches, I classified it into branches of agriculture 2. Okay, look at for the first one is the agronomy. Agronomy is a branch of agriculture which deals with the cultivations of crops for food, fiber, oil, seed, sugar, and etc. So the primary aim of this branch is to improve food productions and crop techniques. In the most important branch among all branches of the agronomy, it also covers what type of agricultural practices. So the scope of agronomy to identify of proper season for cultivations. And the second thing is we want to know what are the proper methods for cultivations. Number 3, the availability and application of chemical fertilizer. What are the fertilizer that we want to apply and what are the types? Number 4, the availability of herbicide for control of the weeds. So to control the weeds, you can use whether chemical herbicide or natural herbicide. So number 5, water management practices, the way you want to manage your irrigations. Intensive cropping. Number 7, new technology to overcome the effect of moisture stress. Package of practice to explore full potential in agriculture. Keep farm implements, the way you want to maintain all of your farm implements. Number 10, to maintaining the ecological balance in the ecosystem. And the last one, to care and dispose of farm and animal products. For example, you have waste product from the agriculture. So which are the proper way you want to dispose it, or maybe you want to throw away, or just you can get benefit from making compost as example. Okay, so the next second branch is a horticulture. Horticulture, basically we can see that most of flowers are horticulture. So let's look at science and art involved in the cultivation, propagations, processing, and marketing of ornamental plants, flowers, vegetables, and fruits and nuts. So horticulture includes vegetables, fruits, and nuts which are directly used by men for food. The flower or other ornamental plants for aesthetic use or visual enjoyment, and those used for medicinal purpose. Means here, people tend to plant the flowers for the view, to get the aesthetic of the visual enjoyment, and also for the medicinal purpose. Okay, branches of horticulture. So there are a lot of branches of horticulture. Basically, for the pomology, branch which deal with the cultivations. For the olericulture, branch of horticulture which deal with the cultivation for the beans, tomatoes. For the floriculture, the branch of horticulture which deal with the flower cropping, for example, rose, carnation, lily, and so on. About arboriculture, which is branch of horticulture which deal with the assessment of planting, maintenance, and removal of trees. And for the landscaping, it's still with the productions, presentation, and the care of the landscape, making landscape with the flowers and others ornamental plants. For the viticulture, cultivation and retaining grapes are grown for are known as a viticulture. And oenology, study of the characteristics of wine plants and winemaking. So means for the winemaking, they have specific grapes that they use for the winemaking. Okay, next we go to the branch 3, plants breeding and genetics. Okay, plant breeding is aimed at developing genetically improved crop cultivar with economic benefits for small scale and commercial farmers. So the plant breeders usually make crops involving elite varieties and the modest cultivation practices of uniform high yielding varieties, HYV, which has reduced crop genetic diversity and predispose crop plants to disease and impact pest epidemic. So means here we try to do some modification of the breedings to make sure that the offspring will get the strong and can resistant to the pest, resistant to the drought, and resistant to the environmental stress. Okay, 6 signs. What's actually the 6 signs? Everything that relate to the 6, you can call 6 signs. So the branch deal with the 6 structure and growth habitat starting from fertilization, eggs, development, and growing into a new plant. So it means you have a seed. So how the way you want to manage the seed until they become a seedling and become a plant. 6 signs is closely related to the biochemistry, botany, genetics, and other biosciences. So we have go next to the crop physiology. Crop physiology is the study of the function and response of plant growth in different environments. This is one of the most basic fields of agriculture. So the study of the plant process response for the growth, development, and production of economic yield by crop plants. You can imagine the photosynthesis process for the plants. It means the plant make their own food. It means here they need light, they need water. So the way of the transportations you can learn in the crop physiology. So crop physiology focus on the whole plants and plant communities, not individual plants organ or cell, because most of the process that control yield operates at the whole plants. So crop physiologists investigate processes responsible for the primary productivity of the crop communities. For example, here photosynthesis, respiration, light interception, and nutrient utilization. So how the products of this process are converted to economic yield. So the process we can group it into crop physiology. So the plant pathology. Okay, plant pathology is the science which is study about the causes of the plant disease. Means here, for example, the plant have disease. So which part of which specialist you want to refer it? So you can refer it to the plant pathologist. So the mechanism by which disease develop in individual plants and in plants populations, and the way and means by the disease can manage by the pathologist. So what is a plant disease? So visible effect of disease on plants are called symptoms. Any detectable changes in color, shape, or function of the plant in response to the pathogen or disease-causing agent is a symptom. For example, you have a chili plant. You see that the chili plant is weird because you see that the leaf is wrinkled, the growth is stunted, and maybe the fruiting is not normal fruiting as normal chili. So you can call it as a symptoms. So the signs of a plant disease are physically evident of the pathogen. For example, fungal fruiting bodies, bacterial ooze, or nematocysts. Signs also can help with the plant disease identification. So it means here, for example, here you can see that the leaf is shrinking. So you can, or the leaf have a yellowish color. So based on here, we can determine what are the disease or what are the cause of the problems here. Okay, plant protection. Plant protection is the science and practice of managing pests, disease, and weed that damage crop and other plants, and which can have a devastating effect on the farmer's livelihood. So the protection of crops against pests means reducing the pests and creating the most adverse condition for their adaptation. So it means here we have to control by disrupt their habitat. Although some insects do not pose an economic threat to the production, they can be disease vector. Farmers should therefore protect crops from pests even if there is no immediate threat of cure. So means here, let's say in your plantations or in your field, they have insect or pests attacking your plants. This is might reduce your yield and might reduce your quality of the yield. So we need to protect. The soil science is deal with the soil formation, soil genesis, soil classification, and description of soil properties. So soil science deal with the soil as a natural resource of the surface of the earth, including soil formation, classification, and mapping. And also we can analyze the fertility, the properties of the soil, and also the way we want to manage the soil. For example, here we got the analysis of the soil science on the field, and we're going to apply the nutrients or the fertilizer. So based on the analysis, we know that the available nutrients in the soil. Okay, basically for the soil type we have loam, sandy soil, and a clay. And based on the soil, they have different characteristics. Okay, number 9, entomology. Actually, entomology is the branch which deals with the insects and developments, anatomy, physiology, life history, behavior, environmental, and the classification of the insects. So, example of the insects, there are 6 orders of insect: Orthoptera, which is include the grasshopper and locust; Hemiptera, which includes the true bugs as a leafhopper and plumbugs; Lepidoptera, moth and butterfly; Homoptera, aphid; Centroptera, thrips; and Coleoptera, which is the largest group for the beetles. And the last one for the branch of agriculture. One, agriculture biotechnology. So the branch of agriculture, which include the application of the scientific techniques and tools, which is involve vaccine, molecular markers, genetic engineering, and also tissue culture. So this is to alter the genome of living organisms to develop improved organisms such as crops and livestock. So basically, the transgenic crops and animals could be a source of maintain a sustainable food supply and fulfill global food needs. And there are some examples using biotechnology. Is GMO, genetically modified crops, which is we try to modify the crops which desired need. Development of biofuel, improving plant growth to make sure that plant is resistant to the environmental stress. Improving plant seed quality, as we know that seed is the important part is the starting point before the plants can grow. And improve animal health and breeding to make sure that breeding is successful and can have it a good quality. Okay, that's all for the module 1. Module 2A. So see you in the next module.